Hi, my name is David Mayo. I'm the Director of Communications for the Port of Nanaimo, and welcome to Port Connect. Port Connect is a presentation that we've done annually in 2018 and 2019 face-to-face, and this year we're doing it as a virtual format so that we can create a safe environment for you and for the employer, our industry partners here. Today we have Pam Ellison. Pam is lucky to have Pam here. She's a busy person. She's the terminal manager out at DP World at Duke Point here in Nanaimo. And Pam will be answering some questions that we'll pose for her to give you some insights to her work and what she might be looking for as an employer. Port Connect is a partnership between our industry, the marine-based industry. Our partners are stakeholders who help us make up the business that we do at the port, and we're lucky to have a resource like Pam to provide some insights to their workings and activities. So Pam, thanks very much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Sure. Yeah, and do you want to do a little introduction to yourself and then tell us a little bit about how long you've been at the terminal and just kind of an overview from your perspective?
Sure. So I am born and raised Vancouver Island. Was here for a long time in the forest industry before going to Vancouver to work in forestry still over there, and then moved to the port industry with P&O Ports, and that was about 18 years ago. I originally started in health and safety and was busy doing that for about it sort of crosses over when I left safety and environment and moved into operations, but been with the company 18 years in total, and back at Duke Point now
Right.
about 9 years. So prior to that, it's mostly health and safety, but been on the island in Nanaimo at Duke Point for just 9 years, I guess.
Wow, Duke Point. Okay, and DP World stands for what? What does the acronym stand for?
Dubai Ports World. So
Yes.
We're a company. We load and unload container ships all over the world, and that's just one arm of the business. There's other, the company owns airports and golf courses, and there's lots of other pieces to the company.
Right.
I work in the logistics sector, shipping, and then Vancouver Island is primarily just a short sea shipping. We move containers between the island and Vancouver with the intention of growing the terminal here.
Right. Okay. Thanks very much. And the terminal, basically the job that you have there is to manage the movement of that cargo, primarily the containers. Is that correct?
So when we started here, it was primarily a break bulk lumber terminal.
Right.
Lumber came in, we loaded it on a ship, and it was then exported. And that was not containerized cargo.
Right.
We started the barge right around 2011, I guess, was when we had our first trial. And then 2012 started the regular service.
Okay, so 2012, and it's been a great working relationship that we've had with you, and containerism has grown year upon year. Can you say are there any trends at all, Pam, that you're noticing in the industry that's occurred during your time here?
Yeah, so I read that question and I thought, trends in regards to what? So there's a few trends in various different areas. So our volume has definitely trended up, where prior to the last couple of years, we've had a little bit of a struggle with COVID, and prior to that, our customer had a strike, so that impacted us. But our volume definitely consistently trended up from when we started the short sea shipping business. So that's a good news story. There's been a trend to move more cargo into containers. So, that's another trend we've seen. So we are doing a lot less break bulk cargo now, but we are doing more containerized cargo. Okay. I'd say there's also, the trend in that Vancouver's getting busier. There's less space available on the mainland, and moving stuff on the mainland is getting more expensive. So I would say there's a trend that there's more inquiries, there's more interest as to what's going on Vancouver Island, and how to move cargo off Vancouver Island. when we started here, the customers didn't really understand or know how to use a container service the way they do now. That wasn't really an option. It was familiar to people to drive cargo back and forth to the mainland on a truck and a chassis, but not necessarily to do load on, load off with a container crane and a barge. So we've seen now that, you know, people know to ask more questions. So I'd say there's definitely more options on the island, and the customers now know to look at all the options. So I'd say that's been a trend as well.
Right.
As well as I would say it's harder to find people.
Interesting. In what way? What do you mean?
Just you know, when we're looking for employees or we're looking to hire, I find that it's hard to find people. This is a very fast-paced industry. We're a 24/7 operation. And not that we run every day, we don't have a shift every day 24/7, but we have the ability to. So finding people that are able to work in a fast-paced environment all the time, change their schedule, you know, work various shifts and shift work. And we DP World works Vancouver Island all the way from Victoria up to Port Alberni. So it's not necessarily that we're always at Duke Point. You know, I'm at Duke Point and I'm here most of the time, but some of the positions require traveling to various locations. You know, that I'd say is a big trend as well, that I've personally found it harder to find employees.
Okay. So when you say it's harder to find employees, can you give me a sense of what you are looking for in an employee? That is if you had to ideally profile somebody, what would it be that would be, this is the ultimate person that I would want? Well,
this is too good to be true, but somebody who's very flexible. And honestly, I would rather find the right person than I would find the person with the right skill set, because you know, we're heavily unionized. So understanding the collective agreement, being able to work within the collective agreement and not get sucked into those, some of the negative attitudes or preconceived ideas of what that relationship should look like. I think you can have a very good relationship with the union. And right. I kind of expect that, you know, I want that to be a very good relationship. So somebody who can be strong but still be very cooperative, somebody who can, you know, switch what they're working on, you know, in a moment's notice, because our days changed. We have, you know, there's very specific order times for when we have to order labor or plan a ship coming in or how we do our planning. So really being able to work in a stressful environment. And we're all here to support and help. You know, nobody's going to be thrown out there to work on their own in that kind of environment. But right. We do have to pull together, and it's all hands on deck sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm just finding it a little bit harder to find people that really will, you know, tie their boots up and hit the ground running.
Right. Okay. So do you find that interesting? Because in some cases, employers will often look for somebody who has experience already, and some employers prefer to kind of groom the people that come in. Sometimes students that are coming in fresh out of university or out of high school or wherever they're coming from might have less preconceived notions, and so maybe they are more open. But then maybe an experienced person that works in different places, and they start to learn that it is best to be a kind of a Jack or Jill of all trades. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is a bit of a catch-22. You know, you'd always find somebody who knows exactly how to do it.
Right.
And they can just come in without any, you know, having to do any job shadowing. But it's unrealistic, and especially in our environment, and especially when you want to create a culture that, you know, we have a certain culture that we're aspiring to, or and we want to teach that person how to sort of work within that or help us build that together. And, you know, we also want to take what they bring to the table too and use that for what it's worth. Right. Everybody will bring something unique. So I really, you know, and that's one of the downsides of finding somebody who has 20 years of experience, they might be pretty stuck in their ways. And they might not look at things with a fresh set of eyes. So
Right.
that's one side to that.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have a lot of different experiences and the value that a person brings, especially to DP World and what they're doing out at DuPont. They're part of the economy. I mean, you're talking about a trend where people are growing and it's going to grow. And you mentioned short sea shipping as a term. Can you explain a little bit about that and how that is growing, why it's growing?
Yep. So as it relates to us, historically, cargo was moved on and off Vancouver Island via BC ferries or Seaspan. And that's the way the customer base knows it to be done. So what DP World and the Port of Nanaimo created is a barge service that goes between Vancouver and, so we have a terminal in Vancouver, Centerm. So our barge service goes back and forth between Nanaimo and Vancouver, and that cargo it basically comes to DuPont. We hold it here until we load it onto the barge. We can get about 148 full containers on there before we wait out. That cargo is then taken to Vancouver. The container cranes take it off the barge, put it on the dock, and then direct to ship. So essentially, the short sea shipping service we have is just a direct link to the international vessels.
Right. And I understand that the idea there is when you take the cargo from the ship and lay it down, put it in your laydown area, that it allows the ship to move on to their next destination. That keeps the shipping moving because time is money kind of concept, right? You
don't want to hold the ship up ever.
No, that's the best thing to do.
You never want to hold the ship up. Yeah. So the idea is that we'll expand our short sea shipping and in the new year, hopefully take it not only to Centerm, but to Fraser Surrey docks as well.
Right.
And have this triangulation of Fraser Surrey, DuPont, Centerm, not necessarily in that order, but that's going to be the connectivity of it.
And you're definitely on a global scale. So you're receiving ships from primarily the Asian market, is that correct? Or where would you say?
Yeah, so the majority of my cargo is export cargo. Yes, the majority of it is for Asia. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And so that would be, and that's the type of reach you have. So what would be the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? What would be the best way to approach you?
So they're welcome to email or phone. The phone number is 250-722-2290. My email is pamela.ellison@dpworld.com. And if you just go to the DP World Vancouver website,
right.
You can find us. Or if you go to the DP World Global website, you can scroll into, we're part of the Americas region, and you can get to us that way as well. Or there's links even on your website to connect with us.
Correct. And the npa.ca site, we have a link over to DP World. So that is great. We will have the information up on the screen, so it'll be easy for people to take that information for direct contact, and or if they want to get a hold of Work BC Nanaimo, because they were one of the partners. Is there anything else, Pam, that you wanted to mention just in terms of the scope of things that you would want to say to any potential employee?
First of all, don't ever think you're not qualified. Try. If I can help you become qualified, I'd be more than happy to, give you any advice or nudge you in the right direction or tell you what I think you need.
Right.
If I was hiring, I'd be more than happy to do that. So please don't hesitate. And then the other thing is that we do have intention to expand over the next couple years. So we are going to be getting busy. I'm sure we're going to be hiring. So do be in touch. Don't try to try.
Great. Well, that's great advice for anybody. So thanks. Very approachable. It sounds like you create a very solid environment for people to grow with you as DP World is growing. So
it's a good company.
Excellent. Company. Excellent reputation, and we're glad that you're partners with us at the port. So thanks, Pam. I want to just wrap up by saying to the viewer, please reach out, contact Pam directly, as she just mentioned, with the information, or you can go through Work BC Nanaimo. Port Connect is a production that we do as a partnership with our industrial-based stakeholders and partners and Work BC and IMO. The idea here is that we have very unique set of skills in a marine environment. You wouldn't find the same kind of presentation in the prairies because this is all marine based here. So we work with our partners who know a lot about what it's like to work on the coast. So thanks very much for viewing and good luck with your job search. Pam, excellent. You won an Emmy. I think you're just great.
Thanks, David.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.